Kaleidoscope is produced under a grant from McDermott Incorporated, a leading energy services company. McDermott believes in the communal benefits of quality scientific programs. It is proud to help bring it to you.
This is historic Oak Alley Plantation House, located on the west bank of the Mississippi River in southern Louisiana. It was here that planter Valcour Ames operated a successful sugar factory during the 1800s. The first granulation of sugar was accomplished near New Orleans in 1795 by Etienne de Boré. Today's Kaleidoscope show opens in sugarcane country near Oak Alley Plantation. Its theme is Chasing the Sugar Molecule, and it documents the operations of the St. James Sugar Factory in St. James, Louisiana, as well as that of the Georgia Refinery at Matthews, Louisiana.
Hello and welcome to Kaleidoscope. We're out in the field today. We're out in sugarcane country. It's kind of windy out here. We're about 40 miles up the Mississippi River from New Orleans. And in the background you can see a sugarcane field. We have a few stalks of it right over here, and we'll try eating a little bit. Christopher, have a piece. Patrick, and I'll take one too. What do you think of that?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, and it's very sweet, huh?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's only one way to get rid of it. Like that. No other way. See how sugar cane is made in stalks over here. Joint by joint. Right over here, for example, you see this is where a new one will sprout. And the way they plant this, they make furrows in the ground, and they plant the stalks like this. And they sprout up from each one of these joints. They make one planting, and then that will give them sugar cane for about 3 years. Every fall they harvest the sugar cane, and for about 3 years. And then after that they plow that up, and then they start off anew again.
So it all starts by one horizontal one in the ground?
That's right. It all starts off by horizontal ones in the ground. That is correct.
So like back here in the fields, there are all some underground going across like
That's
this?
right. That's right. Underneath the ground. That's correct. Have you ever seen a sugar molecule? This is a model of a sugar molecule here. It's very complicated looking, isn't it? Can you remember the chemical formula for this molecule?
C12H22O11.
That's right, C12H22O11. One of them fell off over here, but you can see it's very complicated. You see, the black ones over here are the carbon molecules, and the red ones are the oxygen, and the yellow ones are the hydrogen. So it's a very complicated molecule that we're talking about. Can you show us some of that sugar you have in your hand there, Christopher? Let's take a look at that. Pour me a little bit right in here. Okay, there's the sugar, as we finally get it. Now, each one of these little grains are made up of many, many molecules like this, you see? So it's really a very complex molecule. And what we're going to do today, we're going to start right over here, and we're going to go all the way through and finally end up at a sugar factory where raw sugar is going to come out. We'll take you through the whole process. How about that? Okay, now the place we have to start off then would be looking at the sugarcane cutting machine. Let's go. This is a sugarcane cutting machine. It's a double row cutting machine. What do you think of that?
It's pretty scary. It's coming at you.
Quite a monster, huh?
Yeah.
Look at that. This is made in Jeanneret, Louisiana, which is about 50 miles from here in sugarcane country, you see? And what happens here is this. First of all, this is a two-row cutter. You see, sugarcane comes in here, one row, and also in there, another row. And it comes into the machine cuts it, and the machine stacks it on the side. See how that goes? And it's just kind of left there, and later the leaves are burned off of it. And then later on, it's picked up and put in trailers and trucks and brought to the sugar factory. So we're going to see all of that in just a few minutes.
The kind out here hasn't been burnt yet, though, right?
That's right. The
It's
kind
up
here, that's right. The leaves have not been burned off of these yet. Okay. Would you like to see this monster in action?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Right over here, you see out there, they're loading the sugar cane now into the wagons. You see that? That's a four-wheel tractor type of loader. All four wheels are pulling so that when it gets very muddy in here, that's got plenty of traction, it won't get stuck in here, you see? So they're picking up the sugar cane now. See how the leaves have been burned off?
Yeah.
Okay, they're picking that up and they're loading it here, and it'll be taken off to the sugar mill, which is about 4 or 5 miles from here, you see? And there are 3 sets. 2 of them are on the road all the time, going from here to the sugar mill, going and coming, and one of them is kept in the field, loading up, while the others are taking the sugar cane to and from the mill.
So they all have their own little part.
They all have their own parts in the job, that's right. Okay, look at that, isn't that something?
Yeah.
Picks it up, turns in there and drops it. And in a few minutes, another tractor will come and couple into those wagons and take it all the way over to the sugar mill.
This is the St. James Sugar Factory, which began operations in 1947. It employs 130 persons and grinds 5,500 tons of sugar cane per day. And those wagons that you saw being loaded in the field, this is where they come, and also the heavy trucks from other fields. The wagons hold about 2 tons of cane, and the trucks about 12 tons. About 150 to 200 pounds of sugar will come from each ton of sugar cane. They come to this weighing station. Several operators are inside of that small building, reading the scales and recording the weight of the loads. And the wagons and trucks move on and unload in the mill yard. On the way back, they stop once again on the scale to be weighed. This way, the operators keep track of how much sugar cane each wagon and truck unloaded. Before unloading, however, the trucks pause beneath the sample-taking tower. Above the truck, this long rotating tube comes down from a control room. Let's watch how it works. The end of it is sharp, so that it cuts its way deep into the bales of sugar cane so as to extract a sample. It is pulled out. Its contents are then discharged into a box. It is finally placed in a plastic bag to be sent to the control laboratory for analysis of quality and quantity of sucrose. How are the trucks and wagons unloaded? Well, they are driven up to this unloading station. While they are near this unloading platform, huge iron fingers from an overhead derrick come down and grab onto a bar on the side of the truck. The bar lifts up the chains on which the sugarcane rested. The sugarcane is moved upward by a system of conveyor chains. Rotating arms help spread it out, controlling its shape so that it can be washed before entering the mill. After it's washed, it's prepared for the mill. Okay, Patrick, a while ago you saw them take a sample, a core sample from the truck. Okay, it's sent over there to over here. This is the control lab. It's sent in these bags. See? And Kenneth over here is going to run an analysis on it. Let's watch it.
Okay.
See, putting it in the press. Now this is from the sugarcane that came off the truck. He puts it in here. Presses down. And the juice begins coming out at the bottom.
Oh, neat.
He's letting it all drain out right now, see?
Yep.
And then what happens after? He's going to take the juices and they're going to analyze it to see how much sugar there is in it.
How will they do that?
Well, they have ways of analyzing it. They have instruments to analyze the amount of sugar in it. And then the leftovers, you see, the leftovers, he's going to take that wet and he's going to weigh it. And then he's going to put it in a microwave oven. You see a microwave oven over there, you see?
Yeah.
He's going to put it in there, let it dry, and then he's going to weigh it again. So he will have some idea of the moisture content that was in that sugarcane. So this way they know how much to pay the sugarcane grower for the sugarcane that was hauled over here. Because some of the sugarcane has a lot of sugar in it, some of the sugarcane doesn't have as much. So they have to run an analysis on it to be able to tell how much to pay the grower. You see how it goes? Christopher, this is the boiler room. This is where the power comes from to run the mill. They're burning bagasse, the leftovers from sugarcane. It's really very hot in there. You can feel the heat against your face. That stuff you see falling into the furnace is the bagasse. It falls like that into the furnace for as long as this factory is in operation. This is the heart of a sugarcane factory, the crushers and mills. This is the place where tremendous, powerful grinders crush the sugarcane, and juice comes squirting out. There's a battery of 5 mills here. The first 3 are called advanced mills. They are used to squeeze out every possible ounce of juice from the sugarcane. The 4th and 5th mills are used to treat the sugarcane leftovers, the bagasse as it is called. The bagasse finally goes up a conveyor belt elevator where it is dumped into the furnace. That's what operates this factory. The factory is powered by the leftovers from the sugarcane after the juices are squeezed out. That's really neat, isn't it? Let's go back and look at those crushers. Look at the juice squirting out from the first mill. After the leftovers pass through the first mill, the sugarcane is washed with water and squeezed again in the 2nd and 3rd mills. The process is called maceration. It's similar to putting water in a sponge and squeezing it out a 2nd and 3rd time to recover every bit of the liquid that was originally in the sponge. You see the water and juice mixture leaving the mills on their way towards the heating tanks. This is really something to see, isn't it? Let's go upstairs now and visit the juice heaters. These are the raw juice heaters. After leaving the mills, the cane juice and water mixture is strained and pumped up here where it is limed and heated to about 225 degrees Fahrenheit. Impurities fall out of the liquid. The next step is to clean it even more with the clarifiers. But let me show you how clear the sugarcane juice is before we go further. Here, I will use this test tube on the end of this wooden stick to reach in and get a sample. It's quite hot, and you can see a lot of steam, but the juices are becoming quite clear. What happens to the muddy juices that settle out of the liquid? Well, the muddy juices are sent to a large cylindrical filter that recovers the juice from the muddy substance called filter cake. The filter cake is peeled off of the rotating drum here and sent away to be used as fertilizer. The clear juices are pumped to the evaporators. The liquid is still a mixture of sugarcane juice and water. Now the water must be gotten rid of. Within these large evaporators, the liquid is heated under a slight vacuum, causing the water to evaporate. Next come the vacuum pans. In the vacuum pans, the syrup is boiled under partial vacuum. This process encourages the growth of crystals. Sugar crystals begin to appear in the heavy, dark brown molasses. This mixture of sugar and molasses is called massaquite, spelled M-A-S-S-E-C-U-I-T-E. This gentleman says he would like to give Patrick a taste of massaquite, molasses with sugar crystals. From the looks of it, I would say Patrick is quite satisfied with the taste. Now we're looking at the insides of a centrifuge drum. That heavy brown substance you see falling is the massaquite, sugar crystals in molasses. Now it's being rotated. The perforated drum speeds up to extremely fast rotation, flinging the molasses away from the sugar crystals. What becomes of the raw sugar? Well, it travels along a conveyor belt to a nearby warehouse. Let's go out and see it. Here it is, fellows. Look at it, a small mountain of sugar.
Wow, look at that.
I bet that would be fun to climb.
Yeah, sure would.
Imagine how sticky you would get. This sugar factory produces 1 million pounds of high-test raw sugar a day. That's a lot of sweetness, isn't it? Patrick, the raw sugar from the St. James Sugar Factory is loaded into trucks with open tops, and they're sent over here.
Oh.
We're in Lafourche Parish now, about 30 miles away from the St. James Sugar Factory. And this is the Georgia Sugar Refinery. The sugar from St. James is brought and it's loaded in this warehouse.
Oh, I never knew where it went before.
Okay, and then it's loaded into this conveyor belt. It goes all the way up in here into this sugar refinery. Would you like to go into the warehouse and see what happens?
Yeah, okay.
Let's go take a look. Patrick, over there is a canvas-covered truck arriving from St. James with a load of raw sugar. The raw sugar from St. James is dumped in this huge warehouse. The operator of this machine is transferring the raw sugar into a sort of hopper that feeds the sugar evenly onto the conveyor belt. This is the input of the refinery. The raw sugar begins its upward journey into the refinery atop the conveyor belt. The raw sugar falls from the conveyor belt into a receiving pit where it is to be mixed with molasses. Here, Pat, you can see the syrup oozing into the raw sugar. This machine is called a mingler. Its job is to mingle the raw sugar and the syrup. Also, you see a long screw conveyor that drives the mixture forward to your left, where it drops to a lower level. This is a very important step in preparation for the centrifuges. Patrick, this is an overall display showing the input process, how the raw sugar comes off the conveyor belt, it goes into the mixer, it comes out of the mixer and into one or more of the centrifuges. Here you can see the sugar and syrup mixture entering a centrifuge. The centrifuge speeds up, and you can actually see the sugar becoming somewhat whiter as the syrup leaves it. From the centrifuge, the sugar, mixed with water and heated, undergoes a clarification and filtering. Patrick, the sugar from the centrifuge comes over here and is heated, and it's mixed with lime and acid to help purify it. And then it's sent this way, and then as a scum from it, a scum full of impurities that rises to the top in this filtering tank. And these little paddles that you see over here is pushing the scum to the side, you see?
And what's going to happen with this leftover scum?
Okay, the leftover scum is going to go in that direction. We'll talk about that after a while. But the liquid itself underneath is pumped out this way, and it's going to come through, and it's going to go through this filtering system here. There's a lot of polypropylene cloth filters here.
And this liquid that comes up is the ones that's going to be used?
That's right. Under pressure, it's pushed in through here, and it's clarified, and then it's pumped around, and let's kind of go see what it looks like right over here. Okay. I'd like to show you what it looks like. Look right here.
Oh, it's
now,
pretty neat.
here's some of it here.
Wow.
That's what it looks like when you pull it out of there, after it's filtered, you see? Now, it's not all the way clear yet. You still have it kind of brown. So we have to talk about how we're going to get this to become very, very clear. If you hope to get white sugar from it, this has to become very, very clear.
Yeah.
Patrick, that muddy scum you were asking me about ends up here in a three-stage machine called a desweetener. It is a washing process that is the refiner's attempt to extract the last ounces of sugar from leftovers. In case you're wondering what becomes of the leftovers from the final scum, well, it is then taken out to be utilized as a useful landfill. The next process is the final filtering or decolorization process. Behind these high walls, Patrick, are 8 large vertical tanks, each containing 60,000 pounds of carbon granules. They are called carbon cleaners. The brownish sugar water solution is pumped through these tanks. This room full of control valves is located at the top of the carbon cleaners. And here is the final, fully clarified sugar water solution, about 65% sugar, ready for evaporation and crystallization. The crystal clear sugar water solution is evaporated and crystallized here. It is then centrifuged again. Then it is heated and dried in this large horizontal rotating tank. The dried sugar granules are finally brought into this packaging room. This bagging machine automatically weighs a specified amount of sugar that comes down into the bags. The bags go along a conveyor belt and finally pass through a delta sealing machine, where glue is placed on them to hold them together. The small bags are then baled into larger bags. The large bags find their way into the warehouse for storage before shipment. Patrick, this looks like a fun ride, doesn't it? Sugar is also sent out by railroad car, Patrick. Here, Kerry Barrios is loading the clear white refined sugar into this railroad car. The locomotive does the rest.
Wow, this has been some adventure.
That's right, Patrick. We've gone from one historical setting to another, from the sugarcane fields around Oak Alley Plantation, and then we went to the St. James Sugar Refinery for the raw sugar. And now here we are at the Georgia Sugar Refinery in Matthews, Louisiana.
The final product?
That's the final product. This is what gets on your table. Hold your hand out. Let's take a taste of this. What do you think of that?
Very good.
Okay, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Some adventure. Thank you for being with us on Kaleidoscope, and we'll see you again soon.
Kaleidoscope is produced under a grant from McDermott Incorporated, a leading energy services company. McDermott believes in the communal benefits of quality scientific programs. It is proud to help bring it to you.